China's Xi Jinping flatly rejecting the Philippine win in the 2016 Hague arbitral ruling on the South China Sea, despite President Rodrigo Duterte's message that the decision was final and binding. Jen Calimon with the story.
It was a meeting between old friends. President Xi warmly welcomed President Duterte during their bilateral meeting on Thursday night. President Duterte thanked Beijing for its commitment in strengthening the relationship between the two countries despite their differences.
I thank you and your government for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangements. We met just 4 months ago at the successful Second Belt and Road Forum. But given our friendship and the value of our ties, it is never too soon to resume our conversation. Today, let us reaffirm the value of our relationship, both personal and official.
President Xi acknowledged the message of President Duterte, whom he referred to as an old friend. Despite their respective stance, both countries agreed to continue bilateral dialogues, practice self-restraint, and avoid provocative actions to avoid untoward incidents.
Both of them agree that they should observe international law and UNCLOS for the regional peace and security.
Despite China's rejection of the arbitral ruling, the Philippines and China agreed to craft a code of conduct in the West Philippine Sea. He also wants to form a steering committee to craft terms and conditions for the joint exploration of the area. President Duterte appreciated China's offer of compensation to Filipino fishermen affected in the Recto Bank incident.
The fishermen should be the one pursuing that because they're the ones who are victims of that.
Pero tutulungan ba sila?
Of course, the government will always help.
6 agreements were signed between the two countries, focusing on education, science and technology, and trade. On Friday afternoon, President Duterte met with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang, then attended a Filipino-Chinese business forum. Reporting for News 5, Jen Calimon, We Are One News.
For one expert on the South China Sea, none of this is surprising. UP Professor J. Batumbakal says China has always refused to recognize the arbitral ruling on the South China Sea favoring the Philippines. Batumbakal says the Asian superpower will never show any signs of weakness, especially not in front of the global community monitoring President Duterte's visit to China.
Well, wala namang sorpresa doon, no? Lalo na't this is a meeting between the leaders. Hindi talaga natin mag-i-expect na magko-concede or magko-compromise yung leadership ng China dyan sa issue na yan.
Batumbakal says what matters for now is that China is committed to peaceful conduct in the West Philippine Sea. President Xi Jinping vowed to prevent aggression from Chinese vessels. That after the ship owner of the Chinese vessel that rammed the Filipino boat in Recto Bank apologized. Chinese President Xi Jinping now also apologized on behalf of the Chinese crew and offered compensation for the boat's damages.
Very interesting yun kasi maraming beses nang nangyari mga ganyang klaseng insidente sa Vietnam na hindi naman nag-apologize ang kahit sino sa China. No? Pangalawa, sa tingin ko, baka yan na yung pinakamalapit, no? Na pinakamalaking makukuha nating concession sa kanila sa usapin ito na nag-apologize sila doon sa mga mangingisda at nagsabi pa na pwede silang humingi ng kompensasyon, no?
Moving on to other headlines, but still staying in China, the palace says President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping are on the same page regarding potential joint oil exploration in the West Philippine Sea. In an interview with Radio 5's Early Already, presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo said that two leaders are already in talks to create a steering committee. The committee will prepare a substantive program on the matter.
Sexal, yung doon sa joint exploration, ano po ang napagkatapusan dito?
They agreed that there is a steering committee and they should start crafting now substantial program on the matter.
There's no timeline for any of this yet, however, Panelo says. He stresses that China and the Philippines have little choice but to try to hammer out an agreement. The alternative, he says, would not be desirable for either country.
Pero pag-aari naman natin yun eh.
They claim it's theirs. We claim it's ours. That's why we have to agree. Kung other than mag-away tayo ng labanan tayo.
Despite China's consistent rejection of the arbitral ruling, the Beijing and Manila are forging ahead with bilateral relations, and the two governments in fact signed no less than 6 agreements to underscore friendly and productive engagements. The signed documents include memoranda of understanding between CHED and China's Ministry of Education, the DOST and China's Ministry of Science, and a cooperative arrangement between the Bureau of Customs and the Customs of China. A contract was also signed on the use of China-aided container inspection equipment by the Philippine Bureau of Customs. The Finance Department, meanwhile, signed a preferential buyer's credit loan agreement with the Export-Import Bank of China. The Philippines and China also signed a $219 million loan accord on the project management consultancy for the PNR South Long Haul project.